Purple like purple buds. Isn't it wonderful? We did that on purpose. On purples. We did it on purples. Welcome to the On Purples Purple Bud Yabao experiment challenge test. What is all of this? It's just tea practice. That's why I like the term tea practice. Welcome to day 3 of the Pu'er Love 2020 challenge. How are you guys doing? How's it, Pu'er? Are you guys still alive? Amy, I see you there. Are you still alive? We're still alive over here. I'm not gonna ask the people who like Pu'er if you're all still alive, because you guys are extra alive, I think. Joe from Fish Anywhere, Tea Traveler's here. I see Eric from Tea Sleuth, and the Potter's Tea. How's it going? How's it going? Today we are doing some study of a tea that I don't know very well. Just this stuff. Purple buds. They're kind of, yeah, they're quite purple actually, you know? Yeah, they're pretty purple. This is a tea that I don't have a lot of experience with. These 2 packets I have with me are the only 2 purple buds Yabao I've ever experienced before. And to be honest, this is a tea that I don't know very much about. And that's also interesting to me. That's why we're doing this Pu'er tea challenge. It's to kind of push the boundaries of stuff we may not be comfortable with. Some of you guys are quite well versed in Pu'er. If you are, I welcome you. I'm really glad that you guys are here. Help me out if you know something about this stuff. But this is Purple Buds Yabao. And Yabao is spelled Y-A-B-A-O. And these guys are weird. They look like little duck beaks. They're actually the buds of the tea plant. A little bit different from the buds we see in Silver Needle. If you notice, they have these little, like, kind of branching out, like, little leaves on there. Because, from what I understand, if the branch of the tea leaf's like this, the tea plant, this is supposed to be like a new branch, but they kind of pluck it off before it happens. I've actually harvested buds like that, not knowing I'm not supposed to do that, because then it prevents the plant from making a new branch right there. But that's what Yabao is. And it's from Yunnan. The reason why it's purple is supposed to be a kind of like defense mechanism against the sun. But yeah, that's pretty much all I know about it. So we're going to be drinking something that we're not familiar with today. I hope that you guys who are undertaking this challenge are also drinking some teas you may or may not be familiar with. Pu'er heads, okay? I know this is going to be easy for you, but drink some Pu'ers that you're not usually drinking, like an area that you're not used to. Or maybe if you like wet storage, drink some dry storage stuff, or if you try some Laos or Thailand Pu'er, you know. But for those of us who are a little bit Pu'er shy, yeah, this is good enough for me. Just to be drinking Pu'er. You know, we walked into the tea room this morning and I was like, wow, we have Pu'er bowl brewing. That just never happens. It just doesn't. It's just not. Usually we have some Taiwanese oolong brewing, so it's quite foreign to us. And I think just the familiarity of it is kind of nice to have. Yeah, it's kind of odd, isn't it, Stephen? Quite strange. So I'm gonna get this preheated up. I did the impatient thing. I do this sometimes where I preheat the Gaiwan and I don't wait for it to preheat properly because I'm impatient. Gotta make sure the heat goes all the way up to the top. What's the point of preheating if you don't do it right? And then, there we go. That's better. How are you guys doing today? Eric, don't be dead emotionally inside. I don't like that feeling. I don't think Stephen likes it either. Drink tea. I mean, you drink tea, so, but be less dead emotionally inside. Is that possible? Or is dead just like either or? Either or, alive or dead? I don't think so. Things are not black and white like that. Like this tea. This tea is Purple Buds Yabao. Technically, from what I understand, this isn't processed like most Pu'er. They pick it and then they kind of dry it like a white tea. So this is one of those teas that's in the weird kind of gray area of whether or not it's a Pu'er. We were talking about this on the Discord voice chat a couple days ago about teas that are kind of in the middle. Like, are Yunnan white teas made from Pu'er bushes that, you know, undergo a little bit fermentation because of the microbiome? Are they Pu'er? Are green teas that we press into a cake after steaming them Pu'er, like the Dragon Ball cakes that we pressed? I mean, the green tea, just like Shang Pu'er starts, we steam them, we press them into a cake, and we sun dry them. Is that Pu'er? What really makes Pu'er? And this applies to any kind of tea. There's many different ways to go about categorization. I think what we agreed on is we can't ever put tea into categories very neatly, but as long as you're aware of the fact that it is not going to be a straightforward process, we're good. You know, so you and I can disagree on whether or not this is a pu'er. I'm calling it a pu'er for my purposes because it does help me in my kind of pu'er journey. It's from Yunnan. The culture surrounding it is Yunnan. That's part of the terroir. Terroir. You know, the unique environment, the cultural factors, I mean, when we talk about terroir, the first thing we think about is like the soil, the weather, the air, the natural components of terroir. But actually, there's also a human component to it as well. And if the people who make this tea process it, I mean, or like treat it much like they would, you know, a pu'er, maybe not exactly in the same processing, but the kind of same environment, it's getting pretty close to it, you know? And in China, it's important to remember our Western viewpoint of tea knowledge is a little bit different from the Chinese. Chinese tea, like, theory and thought likes to categorize teas not by the processing alone, but by the plant material. And this is pu'er plant material, so they call it pu'er. That's why you'll see from like really legit like Chinese tea sites, they'll be like, oh, it's a white oolong. It's an oolong made from white tea cultivar, so it's a white tea, but it's oolong. It's like, no, it's not. That's a white tea, or that's an oolong, but that's the reason why. It's kind of like a cultural difference where for them, it's very much the place and the plant that define the category, and that's why we have the difference. So it's not wrong or right, it's just different. Yeah? Okay. I'm behind on my hellos. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure we got that over first so no one comes in here and says, hey Ree, it's not a pu'er. What's your fucking pu'er challenge? It's not even pu'er. Just call it a white tea challenge because Purple Buds Yabao is not pu'er. So there you go. I addressed it. So now we're safe to say hello. You guys aren't going to be under fire. Proud Trans Man is here. How's it going? Esther. Well, I'm not going to say Esther E. Blanc because now I know you're Esther. Esther E. Blanc? Is that correct? Jeremy is here. Bonjour. Mindful Teas. Lily du Fleuve. Y. Candin. Danae from Camellia's Treaty. And Sermancha. Gosh, now I'm looking at things, I'm like, do I drop the last consonant of it? Because I'm learning so much French these days. By so much, I mean, hello, good morning, drinking tea. Aujourd'hui, je bois Purple Sprouts Yabao, Purple Buds Yabao. Okay, so first steep of this guy. I think I steeped it a good, like, minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Or maybe I underestimate how much I talk. I'm not putting too much in there. It smells extremely fruity and really interesting. It's hard to describe that smell. So as they're opening up, it's a little bit more clear to see how purple they are. Again, that purple is supposed to be a protection against like UV rays. I believe the purple comes from anthocyanins, which are the same things that make blueberries blue. But don't quote me on that. I believe that's what it is. I think there's another compound in tea that also turns them purple. It just depends on the tea. There are many different compounds in tea that will contribute to color, and that's what's causing this to happen. And from what I understand, and I had to like look this up. I usually don't look up stuff to share with you guys because I tend to try to learn like not from articles only, because articles are tough. Even if they're very definitive, you can't ask questions to clarify. And I know that myself as someone who runs a blog. I'm like, I write really long blogs because I want it to sound like a conversation. There's always like a, well, yes, but also no, and sort of. So I try actually to not read too much like static tea information if I can't talk to the person. So most of my tea knowledge comes only from like a combination of the article and maybe I'll ask the person about it. If I can't ask them, I tend to not want to talk about it because I don't know 100%. But given that, I did look this up because I have no idea. I don't have any, you know, I should have talked to the person who gave me this, but I just decided this morning, pu'er buds. It's supposed to be from a couple different plants. There's something called, this is from the Verdant Tea website, by the way, which I love them. They're one of the first references I ever followed for tea back in 2012. They were one of the first people to start like showing off like journeys to China. So I was super excited, like little like, you know, tea nerd, budding tea nerd re, like, oh my god, tea stuff. When I first started getting into Gongfu cha. And they said that this happens with a couple different tea bushes. There's a Camellia sinensis crassicolumna and a Camellia sinensis thaliensis, which a lot of us have heard before. And then I've seen Camellia sinensis dehongensis. You know, there's these just weird, mutated, like, weird-ass tea plants out there. Sometimes it's Assamica that does this too. So it's strange. Now, any tea plant has the potential, I think, to mutate like this, but there seems to be a strain of tea plant or multiple strains of tea plants in Yunnan province that causes this to happen a little bit more. I think what's happening is that Yunnan is so high up, and during the dry season the sun is so strong that the tea plants there will naturally kind of be like, oh my god, this sucks. The UV rays are so strong, let's just mutate. You know, versus in Taiwan, at high elevation, they got a lot of cloud cover, so it's less likely, just biologically, evolutionarily, for those tea plants to do that kind of stuff. They're just gonna chill. But don't quote me, that's just my guessing as to why that happens in Yunnan. Sounds okay, you know? Let's taste it and see if it's correct. I will find truth in the teacup. Whew, that's juicy. Oh my god, I'm kind of scared of this tea. It's got an electric kick to it. Some teas are just, I can't even describe the flavor notes of it. It's just electric. Ooh, geez. It's very buzzy. I'm nervous about being able to maintain on the Instagram live with this tea. Wow, it's like a live wire. You can just feel, even if the color is very light, you can just feel that buzziness going on with the teas. With a tea, just a single tea. Whew. How to describe the flavor? It's fruity, but in a different way than I'm used to. I guess you could call it, I'm really gonna stretch here. It's like peach skin or peach stone, the peach seed inside, because it's fruity, but with a little bit of edginess to it. So yeah, that's interesting. Steven doing the little grabby hands. Yeah, let me wait for that to kind of sit and hang out first while I sit and hang out with you guys. MX Abby, welcome. Let's see, Joe says there's a Taiwanese tea that's an oolong cultivar processed as a white tea, correct? So sometimes in China they'll just call that oolong, even if it's processed as a white tea. But they also understand that there's some kind of, you know, fluidity to the way that we categorize tea. Trekking Buddha is here, Vanilla Obscura. Dude, we're having some purple buds. Let me put some of the stuff into the cup so that I can show you the dry leaves. The dry leaves are quite similar to the wet leaves, but there's some funky looking dudes. Look at this stuff. This looks a little bit like silver needle, but you'll notice that it has a little bit of a kind of, it's more thick stem, and there are these two buds that come out towards the sides. I wish I knew what the scientific name for these kind of like going out buds here. It looks a little bit different from silver needle. And that's because it's not the very top of the tea bush that they're plucking. It's kind of like the first growth from the sides of the branch that are growing. So they're a little bit tougher and a little bit more, you know, wabi-sabi, kind of weird looking than usual. Yeah, weird stuff. The aftertaste is super cool, like very, very cooling. Interesting. I saw Esther, you were drinking, wow, where were you? You forgot the first infusion that I won. Yeah, I forgot about what you're drinking too, so don't worry. Maybe I forgot for you, and so you forgot, so I'm sorry. Yu Jinglong is intense. I hope she's alive. If, we better check on her if she doesn't say anything in a couple. What are the rest of you brewing? And make sure you don't forget it. If it's a good tea, I guess it's okay, but you know, even the really good teas can get super intense. Anyone ever had purple buds yabao before? Or even just yabao? To dial back a little bit, this tea can be found relatively easily from a lot of pu'er vendors under yabao, but most yabao is white that I'm seeing, okay? The first yabao we saw, I think, come to the Western market was mostly white too, and then maybe 3 years ago, I started seeing more of these purple buds kind of pop up. Around the same time, we had the purple tea craze from Kenya. I mean, tea has trends just like any other industry. So you might have had white tea, I mean white colored yabao before, but these purple buds are a little bit more unusual. Interestingly, I don't have the white yabao with me right now. I only have this weird purple stuff. But they're the same material, just a different color, different plant. So they're plucked from the same kind of spot on the tea plant. Anyway, most importantly, let's taste. And why I'm deciding that even if this is kind of a ambiguous tea to categorize, I see it, you know, it's part of a lot of pu'er vendors kind of lineups. It's made in Yunnan where pu'er is a thing. And the plants where it comes from are the plants that often yield pu'er. So that's why I'm trying to put it into my personal like tea practice for pu'er, the pu'er challenge. It just suits me. So if some of you are like, oh, I have this tea that's not quite like the usual pu'er, do I still put it as part of my challenge? I think if it helps you in your pu'er journey, then yes. Don't let anyone else tell you what to do. I mean, if it's a white tea and you want to make it as part of the pu'er challenge, just wait for the white tea challenge. But if there's like a Laos pu'er or Myanmar pu'er, you know, go for it, right? I think TJ, you were drinking a Myanmar pu'er this morning. Was that this morning? I'm losing track of the days. So some of you have drunk some yabao before. Thoughts? How are your yabao experiences? Amy's drunk some. Mindful Teas has drunk some yabao, yes, but not purple. I'm not a super fan. I'm curious about the purple one though. I actually like the white ones quite a bit. I haven't really dug into these purple ones yet, so I'm interested to see how that goes. The purple, anything that you see on the tea leaf corresponds to some kind of chemical difference inside the tea leaf, right? And we see how different two oolongs that look very much the same on the outside can be. So if we see this huge color difference because of the, you know, the genetics of the tea plant, for sure you're going to get a big difference in the taste. And I wish I had my laptop on me. Steven? Yeah. Can you verify that the purple buds color comes from anthocyanins? Or maybe theobromine? I don't know. Those are the two things I can think of that make them purple like this. But blueberries have anthocyanin in them. And it's a sort of antioxidant. It's a little bit more... Antioxidants in tea tend to be a little bit more bitter. And I find that purple teas tend to be a little bit more bitter. Anyone else had purple tea? So maybe you haven't had purple yabao, but maybe you've had purple tea before. I find they tend to be kind of astringent, a little bit bitter. This is very sweet though, which is unusual for purple tea in my experience. Most of the purple teas I've had have been quite challenging. And by challenging, I mean I don't like them very much. They're very trendy tea, so when someone's like, I got a purple tea, I can't help but be like, it's purple, okay. Is it gonna be good though? I want it to be good. And so far, a lot of the purple teas I've had have been kind of challenging. This one's quite sweet, so I'm enjoying that. The aftertaste, there's not much aftertaste on the palate. It's all in the throat, kind of coming back up, so it's quite refreshing. Yeah, good stuff. I'm liking it so far. I'm liking it more than I thought I would. There's just that undercurrent of the sheng pu'er taste. You know what I'm talking about. When you just, that one flavor that tells you, that's a friggin' sheng pu'er, I don't care, that's sheng. Even if it looks like a black tea, if you taste that, you're like, that's sheng pu'er, dude. That taste is in here. That's that same taste, by the way, that we got when we steamed our Dragonwell cakes. And that's what kind of caught me off guard. It's like, holy crap, if you steam Dragonwell, it smells like sheng pu'er. Why is that? We didn't expect that to happen. So I wonder what that taste is. It's kind of like a minerally, kind of wild foresty taste. You guys know what I'm talking about if you've had sheng to any degree before. And if you haven't, once you've had it, it's just unmistakable. Mineral, kind of rocky. What do you guys call that taste? Just the sheng pu'er taste. You only get it from Yunnan tea. So sometimes I'll even pick up that taste in like a Yunnan green tea or a Yunnan white tea, and it just tells me it's Yunnan. So maybe it's not more so sheng pu'er, but more so Yunnan. I'm rambling. I'm just trying to brainstorm here. Certainly a thought-provoking tea. So what's interesting is that this tea has a very thin texture, but it's not dry, and that's pretty impressive. It's almost like juice. That, you know, juice is very refreshing, but it's also full and not drying. That's unusual for me to see. I see that a lot more with like white teas. So now I'm seeing why there's that white tea connection here. And for those of you joining us, we're drinking the Purple Buds Yabao. It's from Yunnan. I'm not sure where it's from. This was given to me by a friend way back. That guy always has the weirdest teas. I didn't have the time to ask him about this tea. I just thought about it this morning. I don't like to pre-plan which teas I'm drinking for these. Because I feel like if I plan it, the tea will punish me somehow because I'm treating it like a content calendar and not my tea practice. And the more I do that, the more spontaneous I am about the tea, the better. Of course, if you're actually trying to approach the tea and saying, okay, I plan to drink you for the purpose of understanding you, it seems to do better. But I'm like, oh, you know, Tuesday's gonna be this, and Wednesday's gonna be that, and Thursday's gonna be that, so I don't gotta think about it that day. It doesn't work. So I'm really happy I have, you know, work that helps me, that is tea related, because it actually keeps me very, you know, connected to the thing. I don't know that a lot of other things do that, or allow you to do that. TJ says that that's a terroir. Yeah, I guess it is a terroir. Unmistakable Yunnan taste, you know? Delphine is here. Bonjour. I had a really good time listening to your live this morning. Some early on tea science before we even got started. Did you get the grocery guy to join the pu'er challenge, by the way? I forgot to tell you that when he came in. Just be like, hey dude, Pu'er Love 2020 is happening. Come on, there's only 7 pu'ers. And Shiloh's here too. Lisa is here. How's it going from over in New York City? Gabby's here. Oh, it is Friday. Thank you for reminding us, Gabby. Happy Friday. Wow. Shiloh says tropical dew taste. I really like that. That's just, that sums it up really well. I'd say tropical dew with some like mineral in it, but tropical dew, I like that. I think that I wish that we had more words with which to describe tea notes in the tea world, because in wine they're like, oh, petrichor. Petrichor is the smell of the rain, like the smell of the soil after it rains, and certain wines are agreed upon to have that smell. That might not be what you get the most from that wine, but at least you can talk to other wine people better in that way. But now we're just like the sheng taste. You know, the sheng taste. You know what I'm talking about, right? It just tastes like Yunnan sheng. You just know it. So I kind of want to nominate tropical dew to be that this flavor profile. But we have to agree on it to be the sheng taste, because tropical dew could be used for oolong too. You know, I think what we can agree on is cloud butter needs to be the taste of high mountain oolong, when it's like clouds, but also butter, but also clouds. Yeah. Lisa, how's it going? It's so quiet in New York City, missing all the tea houses. Man, I feel like we're really lucky to have our little bubble in the tea room, me and Steven. Sometimes I forget that the outside world is happening. And it's better because it keeps us home, but we're very lucky to be able to kind of hold tight and worry about the tea, you know, force our parents to stay home and work on stuff that we really care about. So I hope that you guys are safe over there. And okay, we've been drinking some Yabao Purple Buds. This morning, Lisa, we were drinking some Jade Mountain Dongpian. So, you know, that's pretty predictable though, isn't it? So Lisa is a friend I met years back in Taiwan we both spent a lot of time with my teacher and her teacher, and we're all, I mean, we're just tea fam, right? In Taiwan. And now she and her husband, August, do woodfire stuff in New York City. So it's really nice to see you again, Lisa. I'm glad I was able to share that because I haven't seen you in a little bit. But yeah, and then the hat that she has on her icon, I've actually worn it. Trying to look just as cool as Lisa, but I don't look as good as Lisa. If you notice, I don't have any like beautiful pictures of myself in a tea field because usually my hair is like, you know, like, oh, like, so when I see these pictures of people with like the beautiful like tea field plucking, I'm like, number one, I'm just not cute enough, and then number two, they spent some time to make that happen. I've spent so much time on like tea fields, but I have no good picture of me on a tea field. I just look so like, you know, I'm just too happy to be inside the tea field that I can't focus on the picture. Yeah. But yeah, Delphine Cloud Butter is what I like to use for High Mountain Oolong. Lisa, you've done a lot of High Mountain Oolong tasting. We're trying to figure out a good kind of decide upon that flavor notes for a tea. Like in wine people can say, oh, that slate note is that wine, or I see them talk about cat urine. I don't know what that is, but there's some wines that are like, oh, cat urine, that means it's that wine. I don't know. If Esther's still here, maybe she can tell us. Not that you know about cat urine, Esther. You just work on vineyards, right? So you know about wine. And wow, I'm so bad. I'm talking about High Mountain Oolong and using the word cloud butter, maybe, to describe what they taste like. That unmistakable, wow, like it's so fluffy, but also buttery. Showen from Floating Leaves uses the word puffy, and I still don't know if that's the same puffy that I taste. She certainly describes it the same way, just that kind of expanding ball, but I still am not 100% sure if that's the same thing that I'm experiencing. So I need to ask her about that, because the sooner we can develop a way to talk about tea, we'll save some time, because then we won't be rambling about this, we'll be focusing on the tea. Yeah. It's okay. Let's see. August, how's it going? Your ears are buzzing, he says. Let's see. I'm like rambling so much, I gotta go all the way down. Where are we? The Potter's tea, I feel a hair issue with my soul. Dude, when I'm in Taiwan, it's just my hair just goes poof. So if you notice, I don't have any pictures from Taiwan because I'm like, Steven, you gotta pick out the ones where you look sort of good. But usually we roll out of bed at like 6 or 7 in the morning after sleeping at like 12 a.m. the previous night. We're like, we gotta go, it's time to go to the next county. Oh my god. Sonia's here. Welcome, welcome. We're trying to talk about pu'er, but my oolong bias is we've been talking about oolong. We're so dumb. It's okay. Everything is connected, right? Even if this is a pu'er love challenge, it's gonna deepen your tea practice for everything else too. So it's okay, but we should really focus on the pu'er. We only got 2 weeks to do this. Yeah. Esther, I'm glad you think I look like a Care Bear. I definitely scramble in the last 20 minutes before the lives to like put on some like not PJs and brush my hair out. And you should ask Steven, I'm usually like, oh my god, why do I gotta do this? Can I just look okay? But it's okay. I do it so I don't distract you from the tea. Like if I look horrible, then you'll be like, damn, that girl looks messed up. We can't talk about the tea. Oh my god. This tea, I guess, is making me kind of giggly. We were talking about this yesterday. Notice how the tea makes you feel, what happens to the conversation. It's very meta, but for those of you who've been to our different live sessions, you'll understand that different teas will create different moods. And so some of our tea sessions are quite kind of focused. Some of our tea sessions, like yesterday, we were talking about tea and dating, you know? Lisa, I hope you guys are still here. Lisa and August, you guys are a oolong... Can I call them an oolong couple? You guys drink oolong. So we were wondering if there's any couple that's like a poor dude and a poor girl at the same time, because we think the world might explode. Because poor people are just like, rah, like poor is just the best in the world, and that's just one person. Can you imagine if a poor guy dates a poor girl and they like spread their poor love across the world? Man, like I feel like the world's problems might be solved, because then everything would just stop, just come to a grinding halt, and all we do is drink pour. Esther, we were talking about you because we were talking about how wine, in the wine world, it's a little bit easier to talk about wines because there's certain flavor notes attached to certain wines. We're trying to figure out, you know, Shiloh called this tropical dew, the taste that Shangpo has, but then tropical dew could be oolong too. It just depends, but what's important is that even if you might not 100% agree on the flavor note, we can agree to use it for a tea to save some time, if that makes sense, right? August says, I use the term atmospheric with intentional double meaning, alludes to topographical elevation, upper elevation of palate. See, I like that word too, atmospheric. So we're almost building like word clouds to use for the teas. So if someone says buttery, creamy, cloud butter, atmospheric, smooth, pure, aromatic, high elevation, in your head you should be like high mountain oolong, high mountain oolong, high mountain oolong, high mountain oolong, high mountain oolong. Now suddenly if you throw earthy in there, then you'd be like, wait, what's also all those things and then earthy? That doesn't make, what is that? So it's gonna be a different tea. And I think that's what I think the wine people are able to do, is to have that word cloud to describe a tea. So now here, if only we knew what to call this pu'er buds, because I'm like, it kind of tastes like juice. It's got the Shangpo taste. I don't even know what to call that, you know? And it's refreshing with the cooling aftertaste, which I guess is hoyin, you know, the throat sensation, the cooling throat sensation. But even then, there's different kinds of like aftertaste. So that's our challenge as tea people, I think. I'm so down low here. Did I? There we go. Because I had the chair down low. We're having too much fun. So yeah, I'm glad that you like that cloud butter term. I like it. It just helps for me. But I don't think it's just me who should decide that stuff. And Lisa, you are an oolong couple. There you go. So I'm pretty happy. I think Jeffrey Norman has that theory that people can't fall in love with tea together. I'm like, there's Tony Gabley and Katie, and then there's you guys, and then I love Steven very much, so turn red, Steven. Do it. Do it. Wow, don't turn too red. You're gonna like make the tea look red. I'm just kidding. Updates on what you guys are drinking, how you guys are doing. Esther, how are those chips? So far, I haven't had to reach for any food, which is a good thing. Doesn't make me... Yeah, I'm just feeling giggly. And I went off on that tangent that, you know, different teas will create different moods, and this one's a very jolly one. Of course, it depends on who's there with you, but even in person, when you're doing a tea session, the tea has an inherent kind of mood to it, and whoever's there with you will change that mood. So, no haters allowed at my tea table. Usually it doesn't happen, so it's okay. Jeffrey, good morning. It's not morning, it's afternoon, but it's good morning for us. We're 2 hours early. Is anyone here a little happier with the time that we're using for our live sessions? I hope that this is an improvement. I definitely get a lot of messages from Europe cussing me out for being so American and choosing such an uncomfortable time slot for them. I'm just kidding, they don't cuss me out. But I hope this works better, as a means of saying. Esther, we should make an official lexicon. I agree. There should be an official lexicon. I think a lot of people have tried to make the lexicon. The problem is they're making it alone, and you can't make a lexicon with one person or 2 people or 3 people. I've seen businesses try to make it. I've seen companies, organizations, but I think that terminology has to come from the ground up. It can't come from the top down, because the people who are selling tea will want you to say a certain thing, and we don't trust them. I don't trust them. As someone who used to be in wholesale, you know, I want it to come from people who are drinking tea every day. It just comes more organically. So honestly, you guys have more of an ability to influence how we talk about tea than a lot of these vendors do, because they're just alone. But if like 10 of us decide that, okay, Sheng Pu'er, that flavor is tropical dew, or okay, that flavor of High Mountain Oolong is Floating Leaves Puffy, right? Or Tea Curious Cloud Butter. It doesn't matter who you credit it to. I don't care. I don't want to trademark it. If Cloud Butter makes sense to you, and it makes sense to 20 of us, just use it. We're gonna save so much time, you know? Talking about tea, and we can talk about the other stuff we haven't gotten to yet, you know, in the tea world, like water. That was like a slide, like, why aren't we talking about water? Whatever. This is all, you know, I'm talking, but just things to think about, you know. The little culprit, welcome to our tasting. Truly, Joni?
Joni, yeah.
Yeah, Joni. I'm sorry, Joni. I'm like, whenever I see a name now, I'm trying to say it in French. So I'm like, Joni? It's Joni. How's it going? Good morning to you. I think it's morning where you are. Tea Traveler says much better for us in Germany. I'm really, really happy that that adjustment is helping for you guys. The Potter's Tea, we should get all the tea people around the world to get into a Discord to input on the lexicon. It would be really nice if we had a Discord.
If only.
Oh man, I wish we had a Discord. If only we had a Discord, you know? That, man, someone should go make a Discord. Hey Steven, go make a Discord.
Okay, right on that.
Man, this tea is so giggly. I'm really enjoying this tea. Yeah, it's a good one. This doesn't always happen with the tea. If you guys are following us into the second hour of yesterday, we went from like giggly, happy, talking about tea and dating. The second hour with that really serious 2011 CPTR show, I got like really like, I want to go like introvert now, guys. Like my extrovert battery is run out. I need to go like... And I never watch my replays because I can't. I already listen to myself talk too much. I can't do it another like hour. You know, I'm listening with you guys. I can't rewatch a replay. Goodness gracious. But that first half with the Sheng was so different from the second half with the show. I don't think it's a coincidence because the people who stayed for the second hour, who came in, were the same awesome people. Like a lot of you guys were there, and you know, but I think it's just a tea, to be honest. Yeah, Pu'er feels. This is a very jolly tea. I'm very happy. Really, really good. And I'm not surprised because the person who I got this from tends to like these kinds of teas. You'll notice that if you get teas from specific vendors, they're people too, right? They're people who choose teas based on their own preference. I find that there's a pattern you'll notice from different vendors, even of the same tea. You know, that's why we tend to gravitate to the vendors that we do, because they just match our personal tastes. Yeah. Let's see. Amy, I've moved from an unidentified young Shang from you to a 2000 Bulang Laogushu that I actually like. Oh, that seems like the kind of tea that you would like. I find that unfortunately, the higher grade teas tend to be a little bit more friendly for people who don't get into pu'er that much. For reference, I love pu'er, but I don't love it. And I'm super passionate about every single tea, but pu'er is just that like little bit step, like just right here. I'm just not going to reach for it that much. It occupies the same step I think that black tea has. The only black teas I really reach for are Fujian black teas. But if you go step up, like oolong, green tea, white tea, everything else is there. Pu'er, I'm just trying to get it just up. And I think drinking it for 14-15 days straight maybe will help. Building familiarity. I reach for oolong because it's comforting to me. I just drink it all the time, so it doesn't worry me too much. Pu'er, I'm always like, oh, I gotta posture and think about it because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Some practice and comfort needs to be built there for me, personally. Yeah. Amy, let me know if you like that 2000 Bulang a little bit better. I was thinking about doing Bulang, but this tea decided like, me, it's my turn. Sometimes the tea picks for itself, I think. Dunix, welcome to our pu'er tea practice today. We're drinking some Purple Buds Yavao. I'm getting a lot of mileage from this tea, not just flavor-wise, but just experience-wise. I measure a tea a lot by how much experience it gives me, not just taste, but flavor, aroma, the smell of the dry leaves in the gaiwan before I've even infused tea, the enjoyment, the generosity oversteeps. I think, Delphine, that's what the term that you used. Generosity. I like it better than stamina. I used to be like, the tea needs to have stamina. Like it's exercising, you know? I think it's a fair word too, but I like generosity. August says, as a synesthete, I experience oolong as conical, fluted. It has shape. See, that to me is very foreign, because I'm not a synesthete, and I don't think about things geometrically very much. But it's good to think about things that other people are saying, because August is not making that shit up. You know, when someone says, I experience tea like this, even a beginner, we kind of have to have that beginner's mind of taking that experience and accepting it, that it must be true in some way, you know, because that's what they experience, and you're missing something there that you could benefit from by trying to understand. So now, August, I'm going to ask you, as someone who's not a synesthete, how is oolong conical? And what is pu'er if it has a shape, or if it doesn't have a shape? I have a friend in Seattle who is, man, what was the word for that? She tastes flavor with color. Like, flavors have colors to her. I think it's synesthesia as well, a different kind of synesthesia. Her name is Friday from Friday Afternoon Tea, and so she blends teas extremely well. I know some of us are allergic to tea blends. I am not. I have tea blends. I drink tea blends if they're good. Her tea blends are very good. And she sees flavors and color. And if that's like a special skill, I don't know, you know, what is. The ability to understand tea through a different frame of mind, I think makes it easier for people like that to learn. Yeah, me, I just drink tea. And have to learn as much as possible from as many people as possible is how I learn best. Different people drink differently. Let's see. This tea makes me very talkative. That's maybe not a good match for me, because I'm already that's what my parents called me when I was little. And they would bring me on road trips, and they were like, oh my god, that girl is gonna talk the entire time. But only with people I'm comfortable with. Sometimes I forget that I'm not an extrovert, and then the moment you drop me in like an extrovert situation, I'm like, I don't know these people. I forgot that I don't like, oh god, where's my tea? Put a gaiwan in front of me and I can talk, but if you take the gaiwan away, I'm gonna want to go home after 20 minutes. Esther says, you're such an oolong person as well. I do like black teas made with oolong cultivars. I just can't help it also. I think there's a lot taken. I'm sorry, I need to slow down a little bit. Just my mind's racing in a good way. I think it's a tea. You know, I wake up the same way every morning. The tea is just racing and helping me think about connections and stuff. Probably a good oolong, probably a good tea to have while I'm trying to write. But in doing the pu'er challenge, for those of you who are trying to get into pu'er, I'm not asking you to change what your favorite tea is. I will just always like oolong the best, I think. I'm open to that changing. I will always like white tea, very, very close second to oolong. I don't think it's going to change, and we're different, and that's okay. And Jeremy from TJ9 is going to have 51 pu'ers. I'm going to struggle to get 7, you know, for my personal practice. For the record, I'm not counting these pu'ers I'm doing on live. For my personal 7 out of 7 for the challenge, because talking with tea is not focusing, right? So I want to be able to have a separate session where I'm actually focusing. Just me and Steven maybe, or just me. But that's okay, you know, differences are okay. Just, you know, even if you're not going to be a pu'er person ever, you could just be a little bit more. Or like it a little bit more. it might help you like oolong even more too. Yeah. I'm really grateful for this tea. This tea is like pushing me forward. So we'll do another steep at 90 degrees Celsius, showing off the Celsius. 90 degrees Celsius is what? 185 degrees Fahrenheit? Let me check. I'm trying to learn this whole Celsius thing. 190, no, 192, 193. Getting used to that. So Lily du Fleuve is having some Jingmai show 2008. Wow, that's a 12-year-old tea. 2008 was 12 years ago. Jingmai is another one of those areas in Yunnan that I can kind of tell if it's a Jingmai, but I don't know much about it, so I really want to get into it. I was trying to look for some Jingmai. I don't have any in my collection. I just don't have a Jingmai. So you can see the kind of areas of improvement in my tea study that need to get done. Shiloh, the generosity of the Dai people, and the culture assisted me in delving deeper into Puerto though. I agree. Maybe it's just fates or destiny or connections that I just landed in Taiwan. From the very beginning, even before I met, my teacher, and Fang, also my teacher, and everyone in Taiwan, the first tea I really fell in love with, that was like a pure tea, because I liked Earl Grey, I liked other stuff, but it was a Taiwanese oolong gifted to us by a family friend. It could have been anything, I'd had Dragonwell by that point, I'd had black tea, loose leaf black tea, but I didn't really notice. It was a Taiwan oolong, high mountain Taiwan oolong, specifically that like shoved me into the void, I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. I still have the oolong, by the way. I kept a tiny bit of it. I don't know why, but I was like, I want to see if I still like this in a couple years. Now it's been, 9 years, so I have that old packet of tea. I'm gonna open it up someday to see, what it is. It's probably not even real high mountain oolong. I know that. It came in like a souvenir container, but that was a start. So, interesting. I think everyone has like an origin story as to how they started tea, that kind of light bulb moment tea. Yeah. Esther says, me tasting a black tea, OMG, that's amazing. It's from Feng Huang, right? And I do the same thing where I think I'm being really original with the teas that I like. Yesterday for the blind tasting, that Shangpuer, I really liked it, and I'm like, I asked Steven to pick some challenging teas. Surely he did some Bulang or something, but it ended up being Yiwu, and I liked it. I just like Yiwu. I'm just so unoriginal. Ispod nebeznož. A little bit worse than yesterday, better than 3 days ago. Welcome. So, wow, I have a couple of friends who have synesthesia. That's really, really impressive. I mean, it seems to be not a common thing in the general population, but I've met more than a couple synesthetes? People with synesthesia. Athletes. There we go. See, I speak one language and not very well. In the tea community, seems to be a little bit different, Steep Leaf Shop is here as well. And in August, it's a character of oolong that enters the mouth as a point and expands into a cone shape. Pu'er is more color and light-based. Sunlit wood. Wow. I'm starting, at least I've listened to Shoen from Floating Leaves before, that I can understand structure. She talks about angles in tea, and I've never heard anyone talk about angles in tea before. So even Shoen admits it. She's like, I know it sounds really, really weird, but I'm like, dude, she's onto something here. Even if I don't know what's happening, I'm gonna try. And she says the same thing too. If you have no idea what's going on, just keep trying. So I'm gonna try to keep that in mind, August. And now we have 2 reference points. This is why I like having group discussions in tea. Not only Shoen, but now my friend August talks about angles in tea. I'm sure there are other people too who talk about it, and I'm not even sure if you guys are both talking about the same kind of angles, but it just shows that there's some kind of consistency there. And I agree that I can kind of see what you mean by sunlit wood as a non-synesthete. I guess I'm like You're like if using the athlete thing Steven's saying, you're an athlete. I do volleyball sometimes, so I can kind of see what you're getting at, but then I can't understand because I'm not at that level. Matt Zelek, man, you guys should PM me how to say your names, is what it is. Talkative T, best. There we go. I have magic and unpaused. Welcome back. Eric says my first real love for tea was High Mountain Oolong, Gaoshan. Henry from Heirloom Tico is here. How's it going? And then, let's see, Yorkshire Gold as well. Sin Astit. Better. Yeah, what a lovely tea this is. It's a kind of tea that will let you talk without talking about it. Which is different too. Because it seems like certain teas command the room. Certain teas are so like, I'm not gonna let you have a tea session without you guys focusing on me. Because it's just so powerful or very obvious. This tea is indeed very powerful and intense, but it's letting me talk about other stuff. It's interesting. We talked about this yesterday, so for those of you who are really diligent and like join us for everyday tea practice, I'm sorry you have to listen to this again, but it's gonna nail the concept in. If this sounds kind of weird to you, like why does tea affect your mood? That's kind of so weird, you know. Think about wine and liquor and how people can be like, oh, I can drink red wine, but oh, don't give me champagne, I'm gonna go crazy, you know. Or I can drink tequila nonstop, but vodka just messes me up. Same thing with tea. Same thing with tea. There's a reason why certain liquor is served at certain events, you know. Champagne for New Year's. Sake late night. I think sake is supposed to be a late night thing. I wish Zai Hongshao was here. He's another tea enthusiast who's really into like science. I don't even want to call him a tea enthusiast. He knows a lot. Holy crap. He talked about using wood as a material for teacups on his latest blog post, and I was like, wow, I've always shied away from wood in my teacups because I don't want my tea to taste like wood. But he has a point. If we use ceramic to influence the taste of our tea, as long as we're being mindful of it, why not use wood? See, I'm happy for this tea. It's a very positive, very flowing, very just group-oriented tea. I need to remember that. My tea collection is not just for taste, it's for toolkit as well. If I want to create a certain mood, I kind of know which tea to pick out, and I'm happy I have that ability, you know? And this tea is just very collaborative. I'm getting a lot of input. I'm thinking about other people. I'm really grateful that I get to learn from you guys together and share ideas, and yeah, this is a great tea for that. I always feel that way, but this tea is just helping me open up to that. Man, this is a weird one. Weird session. This is the one I'm gonna be like, Steven, I can't believe I said that. You know? But it's true. I really do appreciate it. August says, I really appreciate your way, your path. Very illuminative, respective of the shadows. I would hope so, you know? I feel like I learn slow. I have to like draw from so many different sources in order to learn. But the more you can surround yourself by everything, the stuff you agree with, the stuff you disagree with, people you agree with, the people you disagree with, the better. Yeah. And also it's nice to have ceramics friends, and tea friends, and oolong friends, and pu'er friends, and green tea friends, and Japanese tea friends, and Chinese tea friends, and Indian tea friends. Because if I have a question, I don't gotta figure it out by myself. That's where it came from, is that I spent so long, like a good 2 or 3 years. It's not that long in time years, but it felt very long in terms of my own learning and tea journey. So 2 or 3 years of learning about tea by myself. Maybe 5 years in total? No. Yeah, 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years of learning about tea by myself. And it was very slow. because when you learn tea alone, it's very difficult to get perspectives, you know, especially if you're looking online just on itself. That's why I'm kind of allergic to reading articles and quoting them. I mentioned I looked up the Verdant Tea blog for information on this tea, to learn what kind of, you know, cultivar it comes from, to get some information about Yabao, because I don't have any reference to ask about Yabao. But I don't like to learn like that, because back then, learning just through what that was, like just notes on the internet, it wasn't fluid enough. It wasn't, facts are very difficult to put in context with tea. You have to drink it, you have to ask someone who knows more about it, you have to kind of share perspectives, because your palate, no matter how much of a genius you are with tea, is limited. We have different palates, so I can't taste what you guys are tasting, and that's a blindness. But if I can ask you, and then you can ask me, we suddenly cover so much ground. That's why we're learning so quickly. Because, dude, trust me, it's been, so the Discord, for example, the Discord has been up since October, November, December, January, February, March, April, 6 months. Like, my learning is just, like, really, really fast. And this is even compared to when I've been in Taiwan before. Even in Taiwan, I want to spend time as much as possible with my teacher, but I also got to talk to other people, because if you only have one perspective, you slow down a little bit. And that's why I love my teacher so much as well, because and you know this, August and Lisa, and Fang and Nai Nai, like the family there in Taiwan that we have, they've been doing tea longer than most of us have been doing tea combined, I think. It's in the hundreds of years in that family. And then they opened up a tea bar by the beach to pour oolong in like cocktail glasses. You know, like, what the? You guys don't have to do that, but why are you doing that? It's because they're open enough to like absorb new opinions and absorb new perspectives. That's why they're just friggin' geniuses, you know? So I'm just like, that approach is good. I need to use that. Borrow. Yeah. Anyway, we should dial down because we only got a couple of minutes left. This tea, wow, what a tea. I always wonder what Steven is thinking when I'm just going off. He'll tell me later. Eric, I totally agree. I did it alone for 4 years. It's tough, you know? It's lonely. Tea is very lonely when you're doing it by yourself. It's important to do like solo tea sessions, but it's just such a social thing, I think. August says that tea is like color, it shifts relative to its surroundings. Tea in relation to vessel, I'd be curious to try in a wood cup. What might that reveal that's otherwise invisible? Exactly, yeah. I'm having such a moment here. What I resisted with a wood cup, now I'm like, why did I resist that? Missing experience there, you know? So thanks to Zai Hong, who's not even here. I hope he sneezes wherever he is. Just like, achoo, what the hell? What's going on? Esther, I still agree. I'm active on the internet for my tea learning. I learn so much way faster. Yeah, I don't like social media. If you notice, I tried to make my personal social media. I have an @Ritulali on Instagram. It's empty. I took like one picture when I was in the Philippines last year and it's empty. My friends like try to contact me on Facebook. I'm like, I haven't checked in 6 months. It's like, but you're so active in social media. I'm like, that's tea media, dude. That's different. You know, you're asking me to like post about myself. You kidding me? You kidding me? I'm so bad at texting people back. But if it's tea stuff, I'm like, yeah, it's my work, my life. You know, it's a little bit different. I think social media is better that way. Eric from Tea Sleuth, I wonder how that tea bar is doing. What's funny is that they said that during the quarantine, people in Taiwan are also off of work. That tea bar, you've been there, it's by the ocean, and people are going surfing, so they're doing okay. I guess this one of the safest places to be around other people is on a wave, right? Like, it's just gonna wash the COVID off? I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but yeah. Universal Tea, welcome to the tail end of our purple tea session. And then Lily de Fleuve, being a loner, tea for me is a solo thing. That makes sense too. My best friend, I can't for the life of me ever will get her to have a integrated tea session because she likes having tea alone, and that's fine. Anyway, we have 12 seconds remaining. I gotta say goodbye and thank you for joining us. Tomorrow, same time, same awesome tea. Bye!